Well, Logan Ducks, it's Zach Fairchild here, and this is.
The Ducks Variety
That's
Show.
right, this is the Ducks Variety Show. So, in case you haven't joined us, welcome. If you're joining us again, welcome back. Each week, we feature different sections like our Tell Me Something Good moments, our 10-second talents, our duck challenges, our weekly entertainment, and of course, our weekly trivia. Um, I cannot believe we are at the end of week 5. We are halfway through winter term. Um, Also, Groundhog's Day happened. Not sure if you all saw, but good old Puxatawny Phil, I believe that's the name, this little groundhog apparently seals our fate for the next 6 weeks and says that we will get 6 more weeks of winter. Now, here's the thing, if it's like the winter we've had so far, I think I'm okay with it. It's not been that bad compared to some years. Knock on wood. I think my desk is wood, hopefully. Um, so be prepared, bundle up, because we have 6 more weeks of winter ahead of us. So, um, as I mentioned, every week we have multiple different sections for you, featuring you, our ducks, as well as other talent from all across the world. I am super excited to bring this week's talent to you. I know you are going to absolutely enjoy it. They are coming to us straight from Las Vegas, Nevada. So they are a very super talented group and have traveled all around the world. So that will be coming up later on in our episode. Um, each week I do have something special in store. I do scare my husband, and I will share. We have had um, some things happen with family that we are taking care of and making sure that everyone is okay. And um, it just didn't seem fitting this week to slip that in. So um, I do want to share with you some oldie but goodie footage I have of me scaring my mother. Yes, so my mother just turned 71 on February 2nd, and these videos are just from 1 and 2 years ago, I think, or maybe a little bit longer. So take a look at how my mother reacts to being scared.
Don't do that to me. It's not nice.
All right, everybody. So maybe not quite as good as Dustin's, but I will say I really do enjoy scaring my mom as well. I am the youngest of 7 kids, so obviously I have to be, the wild one a little bit. So more than expected on her part, I'm sure. But I will, in the future, potentially bring you more of my mother as well as Dustin, or perhaps some mashups in the near future. So stay tuned. Before we get started, I do want to acknowledge and remind everybody that February is Black History Month, and it is so important to get involved in one way or another, whether you're participating in an event, or whether you're taking time to learn something new, or to try to learn more about the culture and the history, and why we have Black History Month. Um, as a privileged cisgender white male, I do feel like it is something that I should be doing, and whether or not I feel that I am, um, equitable and inclusive in my thought process. I need to consistently and constantly challenge that, to make sure that I am and that my biases aren't affecting other people. And I do want to share, my husband and I are foster parents, and we have been for about 3 years, and we've had kids from all walks of life. Um, and obviously we knew things like racism existed, and um, you know, it happens. But through these kiddos, we experienced it a few times firsthand, and it's not okay, and it needs to stop, and it needs to change, and there needs to be a culture shift to where any youth, regardless of their pigmentation, has the same opportunities to do what they want with their life, to be successful, to have the same resources and the same support, and the same freedoms to be who they are and to just be a part of our country. And so with that, I will step off of my soapbox, but we have included the link to the Division of Equity and Inclusion. They have a whole list of all of the events happening throughout February, so I encourage you to take a moment or two and participate in some way or another. The link is probably on the screen somewhere, but it will be in the description below. And so with that, I would like to start our show off with Chloe and her Tell Me Something Good section. So Chloe, what do you have this week?
Tell me something good.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week of Tell Me Something Good, where we feature stories from students and faculty and other people within the DEC community about good things that they read about or experienced throughout the week. If you guys ever want to participate or tune in to hear your own stories, feel free to leave photos, videos, or just thoughts and stories in the link in the description box down below. So just jumping into a few stories that I collected online that I saw that put a smile on my face were, so earlier this week, unfortunately, Captain Tom Moore, he passed away. He was 100 years old. And although this is not something good that happened, what he did with his last year of life is, so in April, it was his 100th birthday, and he set out with a mission to raise $1,200. He was going to do laps around his backyard, one for every year he was born, or one for every year he was alive, so 100 laps. And this event got a lot of traction online, a lot of social media attention, and it was actually televised live, and he was able to super succeed his goal. He ended up raising $37 million for national healthcare services and workers amidst the coronavirus and everything going on. He was able, and his age, he was able to make an insane, legendary difference. So that is something very incredible to read about. This man who was 100 years old was able to accomplish this in his last year of life. So unfortunately, he did pass earlier this week, but his life is for sure something to be celebrated, especially his last year's accomplishments. So that is something good I read about. Something else that I read about was every year UPS has a National Service Day on Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day in January. But with everything going on this year, they took the extra step and made it a whole month long of service and giving back to charities and other organizations. So something they did this just last week was donate over 11,000 pairs of socks to homeless shelters and homeless people in Louisville, Kentucky, because the homeless shelters and homeless people were saying that that is the product that they find themselves needing and wanting the most is socks. So for the last month of January, they collected as many socks as they can and were able to donate it to homeless shelters and people all throughout Louisville, Kentucky. So that is something good I read about. Both those stories are things I found that gave me a little smile and a little pep in my step, because amidst this crazy year, it's nice to see people supporting each other and going so far out of their way to help make everyone's lives a little bit easier. A few small little things that I experienced in my own personal life this last week that were good things that happened to me were, it was one of my roommate's birthday this week, so it was her 22nd birthday, and it was just us five celebrating. We had cake and brownies and Chipotle because that is her favorite, and it was just something fun to do in the middle of the week to get us through the extra few days, little push we needed to get through the weekend. Something else good that happened to me was I started a new book called The American Marriage. I found it on Oprah's book club list, and it's about, without spoiling too much, it's about this young couple who is just married and her husband is wrongfully committed of murder, and it just goes through different systemic problems with systemic racism within our society and other areas of oppression within our system. So it's really good so far. I just started, so that's what I've been looking forward to consuming my days when I'm done with schoolwork and work in general. I think that is all I have for this week. If you guys want to share your own stories and listen to them be featured in next week's episode, you know what to do. Follow the link in the description box down below. If not, just feel free to tune in every week and I will give you the download on stories that I found that made me smile and little things that happened to me throughout the week. So I think that is all I have for you guys today, and I will see you all next week. Bye.
Hi Ducks, it's me again, Lantha, and I'm coming back at you with another 10-second talent segment. Something just fell. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed last week's segment. I know I did. Alright, so something amazing has been happening over the past couple of weeks. We here at the Duck Variety Show realized that you guys must be super parched from performing your 10-second talents. I seriously know I am. So, we here at the Duck Variety Show have partnered with Jamba Juice. That's right, we've partnered with Jamba Juice to get you guys a free any size Jamba drink. Right, we will be picking one winner to receive a free any size Jamba drink on us. So, you want to know how you can win that? It's easy. Just submit your 10-second talents and we will be picking one winner each week, guys, to receive that free gift card to Jamba. So to recap from last week, guys, remember that here at 10-Second Talents, I get to feature 10-second talents from you guys, the Ducks, our Duck students, our Duck community here in Oregon, even our staff, faculty. Anybody can submit a video to be featured here on 10-Second Talents. Now let's take a look at some 10-second talents from Nate Muir, Sam Green, our very own Zach Fairchild, and Nick Kruker, as well as some other 10-second talents that I personally found this week.
You know, I haven't been this choked up since I got a hunk of moussaka caught in my throat. Huh? So is this an audience or a mosaic? Hey, how you doing? Looking good. Nice dress.
So, Hades, you finally made it. How are things in the underworld?
Well, they're just fine. You know, a little dark, a little gloomy, and as always, hey, full of dead people. What are you gonna do? Oh, there's the little sunspot, little snoochie. And here is a sucker for the little sucker. Ah, here you go. You just... Yeesh. Yeah, powerful little tyke.
Come on, Hades, don't be such a stiff. Join the celebration.
Hey, love to, babe. But unlike you gods lounging about up here, I regrettably have a full-time gig that you, by the way, so charitably bestowed on me, Zeus. So, can't. Love to, but can't.
Guys, remember, we really want to see what you guys can do, whether it's balancing some amazing flexibility, a magic trick. I mean, I don't know any magic. What? Okay. Oh yeah, no. Magic, anything, guys. We want to hear and see it all from you. How can you submit a 10-second talent? Well, actually, it's incredibly easy. All you have to do is tilt your head in the downward position. That's right. The form to submit your 10-second talents is in the description box below, right down there. The link is right there. And it's also on our EMU Facebook page, as well as with the UO events calendar. Now that's this week's 10-second talent. I'll be back next week, hopefully with more talents from the amazing viewers right here. It's time to hear about this week's featured entertainment. What do we have today, Chloe?
Well, hello again, Ducks. Thanks for staying with us. It is that time of our show for this week's featured entertainment. Now, last week we had some pretty awesome acts, but I think this week, we've stepped it up even more. We have some really unique acts. We have Contorian, we have the Sur Wheel with LED, and we also have a high wire balancing act, all coming to us from Acro Factory out of Las Vegas, Nevada. So these are world-renowned performers. They've traveled and performed all over the country, some of them all over the world. So we have some really amazing talent for you this week. Don't forget to submit your 10-second talents, your Tell Me Something Good moments, and of course your duck challenges coming up soon in the episode, in the description below or through the links on our website. So, without further ado, please welcome Acro Factory.
Welcome to Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps. We are Acro Factory Entertainment, a group of performers, acrobats, musicians, and athletes, all working and living on the Las Vegas Strip. 2020 saw the closure of almost 200 live shows, putting thousands of performers out of work almost overnight. As the city comes back to life, we are working hard to ensure that our dreams and our industry stay alive. Today, we dive into the lives and dreams of 3 talented performers from the city that we love. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Our first performer is a young woman that goes by the stage name of Girly. She is a Mongolian contortionist and is world-renowned for her incredible flexibility and skill.
Hello, my name is Girly. I'm a contortionist and living in Las Vegas. Been living here for 6 years. I'm from Mongolia.
So you're very good at what you do, and it's very competitive, and a lot of people do it where you come from. So how did you differentiate yourself? How did you get to be so good?
I think my coaches are very good, and also I can tell I worked hard for it, and it was my dream.
Yeah. What was training like when you were younger? How long did you train for every day? How many days?
I used to train 4 hours a day, 6 days a week.
6 days a week. Wow. And did you live at a school to do this, or did you live with your family and go to take lessons?
My family, my mom used to take me for the lessons.
Okay, cool. And does anyone else in your family do this kind of thing?
No, I'm the only one.
So you're
Farmer.
first generation?
Yes.
That's cool. So you've performed a lot of places, right, all over the world?
Yes.
Yes. What are some of the places that you've performed?
I have performed in Italy, China, and Russia, and so many countries.
And here in Las Vegas, you work for O, right? O, but by Cirque du
Yes,
Soleil?
I work at O.
Oh, yeah. Do you like working over there? Is that a fun show?
Yes. Ever since I started doing contortion, I watched O performers video, and it was my dream job, and I'm so happy to work.
And you got it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So other than O, what do you think is the favorite, what's your favorite show? What's the best thing you've ever done, you feel like?
Actually, I love to perform all the circus shows, and circus is kind of my life, and I love doing contortion, so I love all the shows.
Nice, cool. What kind of things do you do when you're not training or performing? Do you have any other hobbies? Any other things you like to do?
Not much.
Just that?
Yeah,
Just that?
contortion.
Yeah.
I love to dance.
What kind of dance?
More like Latin America, like salsa, cha-cha.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. And you still train a lot these days as well, correct?
Yes, I am still training.
Yeah. What's your training schedule like these days?
Less than I used to.
Yeah.
Like 4 days a week and maybe 1 to 2 hours. That's all.
Cool. So 2020 has been a really interesting year with everything that's been going on. Obviously, especially for performers, most of the shows have stopped and are kind of on hold until further notice. What's that experience been like for you? How have you been holding up with everything that's going on?
Trying to like keep my mind, be positive, and hoping to go back to work soon and keep training, and yeah, actually it's pretty good.
Yeah. Has it been nice to get a little bit of a break, a little bit of a rest, or do you want to just keep going?
If you're working full time, you would want rest a week or so, but I don't like to
Too long.
take too long like this.
What are you looking forward to in the future? Do you have any projects coming up? Anything that you're excited about?
I did one audition for the movie, and I'm waiting for the response, and I'm hoping to back to O. I heard it's going to start around July, but I'm not sure, and work with some entertainment companies, do some gigs and events. Yeah. Thank you, University of Oregon.
It's time for a dance break.
Our next performer is David Matz, a Las Vegas-based acrobat and entrepreneur, owner of Volta Creative and David's Dream Factory, a 2,200 square foot creation studio designed to help artists and performers bring their dreams to life.
Hi, my name's David Matz. I'm a acrobat from Las Vegas. My specialty is the steer wheel and creating tech-based circus apparatuses.
So David, how long have you been performing for?
I've been performing for 20 years now, professionally for about 15. In college, I had a crush on a girl, and I followed her into dance class, and turns out that dance class was an audition for the performance troupe, and they needed guys, so I was in.
That's awesome.
I started performing 2 weeks later,
That's
and I kind of fell in love with it.
Very cool. So what was your first gig? What was that like?
My first gig was like at a big convention hall for this like bingo competition.
Awesome. Now you specialize in a few different things. What disciplines have you worked with?
I mean, the main disciplines I've worked with are steer wheel, partner acrobatics like hand-to-hand adagio. I used to do a lot of Chinese pole and hoop diving earlier in my career. I used to do a bit of aerial as well. I do some juggling, unicycling, rope spinning, a little bit of everything.
Very cool. Nice. So you're sort of known in the community and the industry as a tech innovator. You combine a lot of technology with your performances. Where did that come from? How'd you get started with the tech side of things?
I've always been interested in tech. I built my first computer when I was 10, and that's kind of how I funded like all the fun projects, like getting a motorcycle when I was 10. So I've always been interested in tech. And then once I started performing, I saw that there wasn't anybody really doing tech with circus, and saw an opportunity and just kind of jumped on it, dove back in.
Very cool, very cool. And obviously the steer wheel uses a lot with the LEDs and the programming. How involved is the process of getting everything up and running so that you're timed with the music and all of that?
It was super involved in the beginning. We used to have to do time codes that were a text file, and it would be down to like the milliseconds, and I would just have to like type it in, try it. I'd be like, okay, I need to change the 0.002 to 0.0015. But now it's a lot simpler. We have a graphical user interface, and we just kind of put the music in. I can put all of my patterns and whatnot, drop any logos in relatively easy. It still takes an hour or so.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. So, and in addition to being a performer and tech person, you also are an entrepreneur. You have your own businesses, including Volta Creative. You want to tell us a little bit about Volta Creative and the vision for all of that?
Nice. Yeah, Volta Creative is built off the success of the Volta wheel, which was the world's first pixel wheel that I created. And I'm just trying to push other acts and apparatuses kind of into the future and find interesting ways to add technology. As far as vision for it, I want to be creating a full-style cirque show. The plan was to create it by next year, like by the end of this year, and have it in a casino by next year. But with the current state of the world and everything, I'm pushing that back and focusing more on helping other people create different ideas and whatnot that they've been dreaming of for forever, but don't have a facility or don't have the technical know-how.
That's cool. Yeah, so. And that's sort of the impetus of the space, right? That you can bring in people and just create and have freedom to do all of that.
Exactly. That's the whole idea of the Dream Factory, and I'm going to be starting little competitions with like the first one's going to be $500 to help somebody just kind of foster their idea, and if they're local enough, I'm going to basically be able to help them end to end with fabrication, design, filming, and then maybe even booking. So
very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, like you said, you were planning on getting things started as soon as next year with some of the bigger things, but obviously with everything that's happened, there's been a bit of a delay. How has 2020 affected you? What's that been like?
I mean, just like everybody, it's hard to stay motivated when you don't see the live events happening like they were. But I've kind of adapted, shifted focus a little bit more on like creating content. And now I'm attacking virtual events a little bit, as well as I'm pitching small scale show ideas for emerging markets that aren't as affected with COVID. So hopefully we'll have some stuff happening in New Zealand or Australia fairly soon, and some other like European countries that aren't as bad.
Very cool. So do you feel like even though there's been a lot of shift in the industry, this has also opened up a lot of new ideas and opportunities, things like that?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a huge shift, and I feel like the people that are taking advantage of it, like yourself and me, like capitalizing on virtual events, and the people that weather the storm are going to be in such a good position to grow exponentially, especially with companies like Cirque du Soleil not able to come back for a while, where we're a little bit more nimble and we can adapt.
Nice. Cool. Where I'd say, so what do you feel like now moving into the future, now that things are starting to get back in gear a little bit, where do you feel like the biggest opportunity for you is? What do you think the next thing that you're going to see really take off is going to be?
I think the next couple things, just because I don't want to put any of my all my eggs in one basket right now, because we never know what's going to happen, but is content creation, where there are a few different like TV producers and whatnot that I'm talking to about making either a docu-series or a series of some sort, and then that same thing in other markets, because places like Australia, Cirque and all of those companies aren't doing tours, but they're pretty much COVID free right now. So it's a big opportunity to be able to present a small scale show, tour it for 6 months, and then be able to pitch that for other markets once everything else clears up and recovers. Thanks so much, students and faculty of the University of Oregon, for having me. This was a blast, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys soon.
Come on and tell me something. Just get it off your chest. Let's groove. Let's groove. Let's move.
Hi, my name is Chase Jenkins. I am a high wire artist and I'm currently living in Las Vegas, Nevada.
How long have you been doing high wire for?
Wow, so I've been doing high wire since I was 7 years old, actually.
And how did you get started? How were you introduced to it?
So I'm actually from Peru, Indiana. It is not very well known. It is the circus capital of the world, and it has a Peru amateur circus in it. And that program started me in my circus world. And from there, I just fell in love.
That's really cool. So you were performing at a pretty young age, from what I understand. How old were you when you did your first professional performance?
So my first professional show was actually at 10 years old. The first time I made the act of high wire was when I was 10 years old. And that following year, we were asked to come and perform our amateur show, was asked to come and perform in a professional show.
And since then, you've gone on to work in quite a few shows, and you've traveled a lot. Tell me just a couple quick, the ones that really stood out, some of the shows that you were part of.
So I guess one of my favorite younger tours, I guess you could say I was a part of, was the Mizpah Shrine Circus. Another one of my favorites was Circitalia. I got to be a mermaid on Circitalia. Big Apple Circus is my big pinnacle debut. I would say working with Nick Walenda on the 7-person pyramid, like at the top of that was just the dream come true of all dreams that I could have ever had.
That's very cool. Now, I know that high wire is a very physically demanding sport. It's also very psychologically demanding one. Could you tell us a little bit about what has to go into preparing yourself mentally to do something like a high wire act?
So, yes. High wire takes a lot of preparation, not only physical, but mental. It kind of develops as you're up there. It's not something that you can really work on if you're not doing it in that moment. Like maybe other things you can physically work on, like you can do squats or you can run, you can keep your heart, like you can do cardio, you can keep your body active. But for high wire, you really have to be up in that moment very specifically, and you have to spend time consistently in that moment in order to have the state of mind that is very peaceful, because you have to be very at peace when you are in that area of danger. Like you have to know that you are in control.
So how's this past year been? What are you doing now as far as performing?
So 2020 took me by surprise. It started out actually, I was on a tour in California, and I was not expecting for the year to go the way it did. And so this year actually showed me that I can be more of the performer than I thought I was. And I already thought that, you know, I had done everything. So I'm kind of learning that I haven't done everything, even in, you know, starting at 7 years old and traveling as much as I have. I'm still seeing that there's so many worlds in this performance area that I can explore. And 2020 kind of forced me to see that. And so I'm actually very grateful for it, including this opportunity right now. Thank you, students and faculty of the University of Oregon.
That one's not. That one is.
Yeah, just stay behind that pillar.
That one's not. And I'm out the way. That one is.
Yeah, just stay behind. Okay.
Our final performer is Chase Jenkins, a high wire artist from Peru, Indiana, who is best known for her work with the world-famous Flying Melindas and the Big Apple Circus.
Hi, my name is Chase Jenkins. I am a high wire artist and I'm currently living in Las Vegas, Nevada.
How long have you been doing high wire for?
Wow, so I've been doing high wire since I was 7 years old, actually.
And how did you get started? How were you introduced to it?
So I'm actually from Peru, Indiana. It is not very well known. It is the circus capital of the world, and it has a Peru amateur circus in it. And that program started me in my circus world. And from there, I just fell in love.
That's really cool. So you were performing at a pretty young age, from what I understand. How old were you when you did your first professional performance?
So my first professional show was actually at 10 years old. The first time I made the act of high wire was when I was 10 years old. And that following year, we were asked to come and perform our amateur show, was asked to come and perform in a professional show.
And since then, you've gone on to work in quite a few shows, and you've traveled a lot. Tell me just a couple quick, the ones that really stood out, some of the shows that you were part of.
So I guess one of my favorite younger tours, I guess you could say I was a part of, was the Mitzpah Shrine Circus. Another one of my favorites was Circitalia. I got to be a mermaid on Circitalia. Big Apple Circus is my big pinnacle debut. I would say working with Nick Walenda on the 7-person pyramid, like at the top of that was just the dream come true of all dreams that I could have ever had.
That's very cool. Now, I know that high wire is a very physically demanding sport. It's also a very psychologically demanding one. Could you tell us a little bit about what has to go into preparing yourself mentally to do something like a high wire act?
So, yes. High wire takes a lot of preparation, not only physical, but mental. It kind of develops as you're up there. It's not something that you can really work on if you're not doing it in that moment. Like maybe other things you can physically work on, like you can do squats or you can run, you can keep your heart, like you can do cardio, you can keep your body active. But for high wire, you really have to be up in that moment very specifically, and you have to spend time consistently in that moment in order to have the state of mind that is very peaceful, because you have to be very at peace when you are in that area of danger. Like you have to know that you are in control.
So how's this past year been? What are you doing now as far as performing?
So 2020 took me by surprise. It started out actually, I was on a tour in California, and I was not expecting for the year to go the way it did. And so this year actually showed me that I can be more of the performer than I thought I was. And I already thought that, you know, I had done everything. So I'm kind of learning that I haven't done everything, even in, you know, starting at 7 years old and traveling as much as I have. I'm still seeing that there's so many worlds in this performance area that I can explore. And 2020 kind of forced me to see that. And so I'm actually very grateful for it, including this opportunity right now. Thank you, students and faculty of the University of Oregon.
right, folks, it is time for this week's Duck Challenge. Now, last week, the Duck brought us the Ping Pong Ricochet Challenge. So, in case you missed it, take another look. All right, so who is the winner of this week's Duck Challenge, the Ping Pong Ricochet Challenge? It is Darren Bandit. Congratulations, Darren. We will be in touch very soon to get you out your $50 gift card. Now, let's take a look and see how Darren sunk the competition.
Darren's fault.
Did that go into one?
Yeah.
Let's go!
Very well done, Darren. We will be in touch soon to send you your $50 Duck Store gift card. Now, so last week was the Ping Pong Ricochet Challenge. Let's introduce the Duck Challenge for this week. So now let's take a look at the duck doing the Transformation Challenge. All right, Duck. That is a very interesting transformation. Now, what I can tell you is that what the duck used was crepe paper, tulle, ribbon, and a headband and some fake flowers that were around the duck nest. So those were all things from home that was used in this transformation challenge. So think of Halloween costumes, face paint, making yourself into a giant soup can, you know, whatever. The duck is looking for this week, especially creativity, your overall enthusiasm, and of course, again, how much you entertain us in the process. So each week we will pick a winner. They will get a $50 Duck Store gift card, and their video will be shown on the following week's episode. So to submit your Duck Challenge videos, you can use the link below, or you can find it on our website. But right now, it is time for Weekly Trivia with John. John, what do you have going on this week?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Weekly Trivia. For any new watchers, let me first explain how this works. My name is John Sandylance, and I'm your weekly trivia host for the Ducks Variety Show. Each week, we release 10 trivia questions about random topics. The winner of trivia will be rewarded with a $50 Duck Store gift card. To participate, there are submission links in the description of this video below, as well as on our website on the EMU homepage. To win, you must answer all 10 questions correctly and submit your answers in the fastest amount of time. The submission forms go live as soon as the trivia segment ends, so make sure you get your answers in quickly. Last week's winner was Samantha Grant, who answered all 10 movie facts correctly in the fastest amount of time. Congrats, Samantha. This week's trivia category is sports. Now this is right in my wheelhouse, so the questions might be a little tougher than normal. Okay, let's get right into it. Question 1. Who won the 2020 Sixth Man of the Year award in the NBA? Question 2. How many players were inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame this year, so for the year 2020? Question 3. 2 Oregon quarterbacks are on AFC West NFL teams. What teams are they on? Question 4. What was the name of the manager who was accused of cheating when the Houston Astros won the World Series in 2017? Question 5. Which 2-time NBA champion NBA coach attended Jesuit High School in Portland, Oregon? Question 6. Who is second place on the NBA's all-time assist list? Question 7. What player accounted for 5 NBA championships, spanning across the years 1999 to 2014? Question 8. Who was the last defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy Award? Question 9. Jarrett Peterson tied the college football record with 8 rushing touchdowns this year. What team did he play for while accomplishing this feat? And that's 8 rushing touchdowns in one game, not throughout the whole year. Question 10. Only 8 players have ever won a college basketball championship, an NBA championship, and an Olympic gold medal. 1 player was added to the list in 2020. Who is that player? Alright everybody, that's it for this week's trivia. Be sure to submit your answers to the link in the description below, and I'll see you guys next week for another chance to win $50 Duck Store gift card. See ya.
Well, Ducks, it's that time of our show to say goodbye for now, and we'll see you next week. Congratulations again to Samantha, who won our weekly trivia last week, and John, amazing questions again this week. Don't forget that form is now live. You can find it in the description below or on our website. And again, the first one to complete all 10 answers correctly will win the $50 Duck Store gift card. So Samantha, we will be in touch with you soon to get you your $50 Duck Store gift card. Also, don't forget to submit your 10-second talents, your Tell Me Something Good moments, and the Duck Challenge. Those are also in our description below, as well as on our fancy website. So, we made it through another week. It is the end of week 5. We are halfway there. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to sing that song, but you know what I'm talking about. It feels good. Keep going. You all are doing fantastic. Keep taking good care of yourselves and those around you, and we will see you again next week for the Ducks Variety Show. See ya.